Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another PS Book Reviews. Today we're going to talk about actually an audiobook, not a physical book. So a couple of months ago I got an email from a Luke Boardman. He had seen some of my booktube video reviews of some science fiction stuff, talking about 1984 I believe, or some George Orwell kind of stuff that I talked about, that I had read and did a review about, and he wanted me to take a listen to his audio version of City of Endless Night. City of Endless Night is a dystopian novel written by Milo Hastings 100 years ago. It's doing its 100 years anniversary, and it's like it was written before Orwell. And the other author whose name I don't remember now, Huxley, before Orwell and Huxley defined they didn't define the genre, but the most famous dystopian novels are from those two authors. Let's call it like that. But there were other authors doing dystopian stuff before them, and Milo Hastings was one such author. He wrote this book originally in 1920, and it was before World War, and the book speaks about a Berlin that is underground and at war, and has this very stratified society. So it's like I wouldn't necessarily call it a dystopia. It's a dystopia in the sense that the world is not what it should be, but the society itself, the Berlin society, is working, and it's interesting the way that the author managed to explore the different parts of how he imagined that such a society would be working. There were a lot of eugenics and ways to control the people applied, so a lot of concepts behind marketing and controlling the masses overall. The cult of the dictator being some sort of god, but at the same time giving power to the people, or the people assuming that the power is within them, which is sort of eye wink to communism, and how communism dictatorships also sort of seem to work. So yeah, it was a very interesting read, or actually listen, because it was narrated. The narration was pretty on point, was pretty decent. He has a particular strong accent, but once you get, well, not accent in the sense that he says words in a weird way, but the way he pronounces words, the way he speaks is well, different than what I'm used to. But it worked out in the end. You get used to that thing, and it's easy to get into the storyline. A lot of different things happen. They crammed a lot of story into just 9 hours. So and a lot of story into just one book. I mean, because I don't want to spoil the story, so I'm avoiding saying any particulars because of that. But the story is pretty much about, well, one person who manages to infiltrate this Berlin underground Berlin society, and he starts unraveling little by little how the society is working, and he questions things, and he talks with different characters, trying to understand how it's working without getting himself revealed. And it's interesting because he goes to every single section of the stratification that exists, and he gets to know the different levels, like how the workers work, the free city, the top tier. There's only reserved for monarchy and stuff like that. So a very stratified society. I already mentioned that, and it's an interesting listen. I totally understand how it could have been some sort of inspiration for other dystopian novels out there, and it's very interesting how they managed to, how the author managed to consider all these small details of the society, because it ends up being more of chartering of how such a society would work, what would make it flourish, than actually action sort of thing. I mean, the most interesting part is actually how the whole society is imagined to be self-sustained, even though it's under attack and all of that, and has a lot of counterintuitive nature in it, or things in it that the characters there assume as being just part of what life is, and what the good life should be. And there's this, it forces you to reflect on the differences between what they are having and what we have in our society, and some stuff in our society that we take for granted, and it is a lot more twisted and manipulative than we initially could give it credit for, in terms of marketing and politics, and guiding people's thoughts into a certain role in life and in society. So yeah, I enjoyed listening to it. Thank you, Luke Boardman, for sending me a copy. I heard it on audible.co.uk. I believe it's available on other Audible regions. I didn't even know that Audible had the regions at different regions until recently. Apparently, co.uk works for Portugal, so whatever. So that's where I heard it. It was pretty much okay. He did make some changes using, and he talks about that in the beginning of the book, of audiobook. There's a specific chapter explaining, like, summarizing the work and the changes that he did to the original concept, and it's pretty much just having some Germanized terms to give a more realistic vibe into that you are actually speaking with German people, even though the whole work is in English. So yeah, I think overall it was good. I don't listen that much to audiobooks, so I can't really compare how the quality of the audiobook is compared to what the audiobook traditional is like. But I managed to hear it just fine, and I didn't lose much track of it. I was even sometimes listening to it and doing some other stuff in parallel, which is one of the things that I don't really like in audiobooks, is that you can't just stop. Well, you can pause, but then you're not reading at the same time. In books, it's a lot easier when you just finish reading a page and you didn't quite understand, or you got lost and you noticed that your brain started thinking of something else. You can just reread the page. And on audiobook, you can't really rewind. You end up rewinding a lot, or you end up rewinding too little. So it's one of the things that I don't really like as much on audiobooks. But it has its pros as well. I mean, you can listen to audiobook while, in this case, I was cataloging some stuff that I have for sale. You can also do it while cleaning or, jogging, other kinds of activities. So has its pros and cons to the traditional reading. Anyways, video has been long enough. Hope you enjoyed this review. And if you're curious, you can check out City of Endless Night up on Audible. Original written by Milo Hastings, and this 100-year anniversary version narrated by Luke Boardman. Go check it out. See you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.